Lift them. On today, Glory's Days show, the World Series has started, but no one seems to be watching as the Giants and the Royals play for baseball's ultimate championship.
I've got an idea that just may save the World Series, but you're going to have to stay tuned to find out.
All right. Last week, we told you about the NBA experimenting with a 44-minute game and less TV timeouts. Today, we'll tell you how it turned out.
And the University of North Carolina has been sending their athletes to classes that don't require attendance or grades. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that's really a surprise.
These stories and more on today's Glory Days coming up right now.
InReview.com.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, October 25th, 2014, and you are watching the Ebola-free Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco here on the InReview.com TV network. Kyle Melnick and Bonnie Schultz are safely tucked behind the glass.
We're taking all necessary precautions here, you know?
You know, Ebola is here in New York this week, and I guess...
Is it on tour?
You know there's going to be a band called Ebola, right? All right, listen.
Yeah. Enough with the tomfoolery there.
Do I look good now?
You look much better.
So are you worried about Ebola?
Well, the government's telling me not to worry, which makes me very worried. Okay? Yeah, that's the way it goes.
You know, I just think, although it was nice to see finally that Chris Christie and New York Governor Andrew Cuomo got together and decided that from now on, if you come in from one of those countries, they are automatically quarantine you because
well,
he says
the federal government's not stopping people from traveling. You know, they're not restricting people that they're coming into the country from there, which is what they should do. So
well, Chris
this is
Christie
the next best thing to do.
Chris Christie said the honor system doesn't work because that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're asking you a question: did you come from this thing? Yeah. Have you had any symptoms? No, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, now they're going to quarantine everybody. And
well, common sense is prevailing here. Okay.
But you're the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's been treating Ebola patients, right? You come back, even though you don't feel anything, you know, you don't automatically quarantine yourself.
He did. He was on the honor system. He was quarantining himself. Okay. I don't understand how he keeps on travel, how he went bowling, or how he jumped on the subway and things like that. But they say you're really not contagious until you start showing symptoms. So he only started showing symptoms that morning.
Right.
You know.
And then he, but
and then he immediately called the, well, I think he called his work or whatever, and they sent over the folks in the masks and the suits and things like that.
Oh, I don't know. It's just a very scary thing. You know, it's Did you see the movie Outbreak?
I did. I've seen all
Dustin
those.
Hoffman
Contagion,
and, yeah.
You know, The Stand is really even based on a pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's what really made me think of this more than anything else, because The Stand was the same type of symptoms. You know, the cold, the flu,
And what was that disease called? Captain Trips.
Trips.
Which you know what that is? That was Jerry Garcia's name. You know, it's his nickname. Because I guess he won in a few trips, I guess. You know.
All righty. So, what's in the news?
I guess the NBA 44-minute game. I guess that experiment.
Yes, all right. So let's talk about that. Okay. So last Sunday, the NBA experimented with a 44-minute game during the Nets-Boston preseason game.
Okay.
Each quarter was reduced by 1 minute to 11, and 2 mandatory TV timeouts, one in the second quarter and another one in the fourth quarter, were completely eliminated.
Okay.
The NBA was averaging 2
hours,
and 20 minutes, right, per game last season. And this preseason game came in under 2 hours. Okay. So it really did make a difference. Except most people, including the players and the coaches, they didn't really notice the difference.
Well, that 220, is that based on, because I'm not sure if in exhibition those games are longer or they're shorter, or are they the same amount of time regardless?
No, the same amount of time regardless.
Yeah. So the 220 average that you talked about before included preseason.
Yeah,
regular
everything.
season games.
And I would think, though, that preseason games are usually shorter because there's not as many. Remember last week we talked about all the timeouts that they call at the end and the decisions, and they're probably not doing that.
Yeah.
So at any rate, the Nets head coach, Lionel Hollins, I didn't even know what his name was. They asked him about whether or not he even noticed. He says, no, not really. When you're coaching and I look up there and you're already at the first mandatory timeout, that was kind of surprising. Now, the NBA, like anybody else, they have the mandatory timeouts. When you're watching a hockey game?
It's a commercial timeout is what it is.
Exactly.
TV timeout.
They have They used to have one mandatory one every quarter, but then they could still sprinkle them like during timeouts and whatever.
Well, in football, it happens a change of possession or something like that. I guess there's always like a time window. They say, between, the stoppage of play between 16 minutes or 14 minutes in the NHL will stop.
Right. So the Celtics coach also, Brad Stevens, he says, you noticed it a little bit when you're subbing at the start of the quarters, but I thought that the flow with one less timeout was actually a little better. So you could kind of see how they kind of thought that the flow went a little better. You didn't have to.
But I guess the question still is, what are they trying to do? They're trying to get this thing down from 2 hours and 20 minutes to something.
But I thought 2 hours 20 minutes was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so.
When you look at a hockey game's about 2.5 hours, right? About 7 to 9:30.
Yeah, same thing with a football game, really, right? Well, a football game is probably closer to 3, I guess.
Football's probably closer to 3. Yeah. Baseball is a completely different story. We're going to get to that in a second. But although it did kind of shorten the length of time that they did.
And again, but this is a big problem. I'm still not understanding why this experiment.
Well, they're obviously, I think their biggest problem that they have is when they have these games lined up back to back, like on Saturdays and Sundays, that they're running into each other.
I see. All
okay.
Right.
I don't think they're talking about just a single game on a Tuesday night being too long.
They're trying to get it, I guess, down to 2 hours so that basically they can start the next game without having to, break into it in progress.
But the players and the coaches, they still feel that shortening the game will not prevent the wear and tear. On the league star players, they'd still play most of the game.
Yeah.
Right? But the less number of minutes will be at the expense of the bench players. Although it did shorten the length of the time for the game,
the elapsed time.
They've been having this argument, the NBA, the players, and everyone, about that. In order to improve the on-court product, they really need to shorten the regular season from 82 games.
Yeah. Okay.
NBA fans don't want shorter games. They want a better overall product. Who could argue with that?
No, you can't. It's not about quantity, it's quality.
Yeah, fewer meaningless games. Like after the teams clinch.
Yeah.
Fewer teams trying to throw. They tank their last couple games to get like a better draft choice. And that they were even talking about the draft lottery.
Really?
How since the first draft lottery, which was when Patrick Ewing got the Knicks were the overall pick in that draft lottery. Only 4 teams that have had the worst record have had the #1 pick.
Okay, because like you say, they have a better chance of getting that pick.
Right.
But basically, like the top, I guess the bottom 4 or the bottom 5, I guess, they throw 5 pieces of paper in for them, 4 pieces of paper for the team that was next to last, things like that. So their odds are a little bit better.
So I got a couple of quotes from players.
Okay.
So LeBron James is the first guy that started talking about it. And LeBron James says, it's not the minutes, it's the games. The minutes don't mean anything. We could play a 50-minute game if we have to.
Which is more than they play now. They play 48 right now, right?
Right, well, that's what he's saying. He says, we could play a 50-minute game. He says, like, once we're out there. And then he said, we as players think there are too many games in our season. 82 games are a lot, but it's not the minutes. Once you play, it takes a toll on your body. So that's LeBron James.
Okay.
Now, Dirk Nowitzki is another guy who is fairly well-respected in the game. He's on
Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, Dallas. Okay. He says, I think you should never have to play at the highest level if there are 2 consecutive nights and flying in between.
I saw that quote, and I said, what the heck does that mean?
Well, I guess he's saying that if you're going to play on 2 nights, you should be maybe the home team playing on 2 nights.
But that's
not
not
going from Chicago to Boston and playing on consecutive
But he
nights.
said the highest level. I mean, what the heck? That's like, you know what? I should be able to mail it in if I'm playing 2 nights in a row. That's what I took away from that quote.
Now listen to this. This is the other one he said. This is the other thing he says.
Okay.
We have the best athletes in the world. We feel, but I think it hurt. I'm sorry, let's read that again. We have the best athletes in the world, we feel, but I think it hurts the product some. Last year, some teams get here for the 4th game in 5 nights, and we've just been sitting here on rest and just blow them out.
Right. They're twiddling their thumbs.
But you know what? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, that's all got to do with the schedule is what it's got to do with. It's got nothing to do with the fact that they should be playing 44 minutes instead of 48 minutes.
Right, exactly. But, my first thought was, well, if you're going to play less games, you're going to make less money. That was my first thought when I heard that. And then this is what Michael Jordan has to say.
Okay. Now, Michael Jordan, I mean, well-respected player. He's now an owner. So he's gone from, being a player to being an executive. So it'd be interesting to see what his take is on this whole thing.
He said, I love both those guys.
Okay. Talking about Dirk and LeBron.
But as an owner who played the game, I loved playing. If I wasn't playing 82 games, I would have been playing somewhere else because that's the love for the game I had.
I don't understand that either. Where was he going to play? If they took it down to 76 games, what's he going to do? Start a new league, or he's going to go play overseas?
No, he was going to go play baseball for a couple.
Oh, okay.
He plays baseball once a week on a travel team.
I see. Maybe he should play kickball.
He says, as a player, I never thought 82 games was the issue. And what are we talking about here? You're talking about 82 games. He's getting paid $20 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty comparable to hockey. Hockey plays 80 games.
Right. He says the other thing he said was if that's what they want to do, we as owners and players can evaluate it and talk about it. But we'd make less money as partners. Are they ready to give up money for fewer games? Yeah. That's the question because you can't make the same amount of money playing fewer games.
I suppose that's true. I mean, I guess the other thing they could do is maybe raise the ticket prices if they're playing fewer games, and maybe negotiate a better deal with the TV networks and things like that.
If the concern is not that it's 82 games, it's the way you play in the back-to-back games and it's diluting the quality because the star players, oh my God, they can't play in 4 consecutive games. Well, then maybe they need to stretch the season out a little more.
Yeah.
Still have 82 games.
I mean, they haven't played their first game yet, and it kind of runs the same time frame that hockey does. Hockey started a couple of weeks ago, really, right?
Yes. Well, that's what they're saying. Why are they playing so many exhibition games?
Yeah.
Why not just play a couple of exhibition games and start the season a week or two earlier.
Because they have to learn the triangle offense. Is what that is.
Which we should probably talk about
Yeah.
at some time, except we don't know what the triangle offense
Well, I'm
is.
going to watch that Spike Lee joint. That blue sky joint is what he said,
All right, so let's talk about baseball for a second.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I did a calculation.
Yeah.
If you played 44-minute games, you took 4 minutes off of every game, the end of the season, you would only have, you'd be playing actually 7 less games.
Okay.
That's kind of the way the minutes break out. I don't know.
All right.
But I did the math.
That's an
I
interesting
think I should
fact,
get
this
credit
code,
on
which
it.
means nothing. Okay,
All right, baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. How much time we got before the break?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. I don't know if we can do this in 2
warm.
minutes, but we will try.
Okay.
Okay. Baseball is a game that's been experimenting, that's going to experiment in the Arizona Fall League. You mentioned this last week.
Yes.
So I went and I looked it up. So here's what they're going to do. There is a rule that says a pitcher must deliver the ball within 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
12 seconds of getting it. Okay, the exact rule says when the bases are unoccupied, the pitcher shall deliver the ball to the batter within 12 seconds after he receives the ball.
Okay.
But baseball's going to go a little further. They're going to put a 20-second clock in the dugouts.
Kind of like a shot clock in basketball.
Exactly. The batter must be in the box for the entire 20 seconds. Okay? If the batter steps out, the pitcher can deliver the pitch at any time, and the umpire can call a strike.
Can or will?
Can. That's what it
You
says.
see, it's got to be will. I mean, if it's a strike, it's a strike, whether you're in the batter's box or not.
If the pitcher has the ball for more than 20 seconds without delivering it, the umpire will call a ball.
Okay.
Now, there already is, by the way, a rule, a baseball rule, that says the batter must keep 1 foot in the batter's box at all time unless they swing at the pitch.
Freudian slip there, my friend.
They swing at the pitch.
Okay.
And, or they get a foul ball or something like that. All right. No pitch intentional walks. The manager just goes like this, 4.
Yeah,
and they
I
do that.
don't like that. But that's part of this experiment?
Yes.
Okay.
There will be a maximum of 2 minutes and 5 seconds between innings.
Okay.
Okay? The hitter must enter the batter's box by 1:45, 1 minute and 45 seconds. A violation may result in a strike being called. And if the batter is set and the pitcher doesn't throw the ball,
Again, it's may. Why isn't it will?
it should be will. Okay, but the pitcher has to throw the ball. Okay. Now, as far as pitching changes, they're going to give you 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay.
From the time you come out of the bullpen and you get onto the field of play, and the field of play is considered the lines or the warning track.
Okay.
Okay. You have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay. So the first pitch must be thrown, and then they're going to have a 3 timeout limit as far as discussions on the mound, coaches talking to hitters, and all that type of stuff.
This reminds me of some of these rules already put in place. They haven't thought these things the whole way through.
No.
You think about that collision and home plate thing, it's ridiculous.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess they need to do some things. I mean, these games are very long, but I don't know.
Actually, they're not really bad rules. I just don't like the clock thing.
Yeah.
Because now
Is that like the
you've got
Seinfeld rules? You don't have to call the night, the day after, things like that. These are pretty good rules.
I like that rule.
I'm very impressed by that rule.
Very good, sir. All right. You know what? We're just getting started here on the Glory Day show. We're going to take a quick break. Wait.
Oh,
we got
we
a
have a caller. Okay.
All right.
Caller.
You know what? We're not going to take a quick break.
Not yet. Caller, please
We
identify
got a caller.
yourself.
Who's on the phone?
Hey guys, it's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck, what's going on today?
Hey brother, we're down in Santa Mauritius on Montauk Highway at the Pet Palace with Rick Everly. You know Rick Everly from The Weekly Show. He does the This Week and Next Week segment on The Weekly Show.
Okay.
We're down at the Pet Palace on Santa Mauritius on Montauk Highway with in radio and the Village Music Shop van as well. And they're going to be doing a grand opening today.
Great.
This is under new ownership. So if you guys want to stop by and you want to get some pet supplies, maybe grab a puppy or two. I mean, they've got some rescues here. That's very big and dear and dear to their hearts as far as the grooming and everything else that they do. You guys stop by and see us. We'll be here from 10:30 to 11 o'clock today.
Okay. That's in Center Riches on Montauk Highway, you said, right?
Center Riches, Long Island, New York, right on Montauk Highway. Yeah,
Very good.
absolutely. If you're headed east, it's going to be on the south side of Montauk Highway.
Very good.
And you can't miss the Enravio van.
That's right.
It's got flames
right.
on
You can't miss the van. The Village Music Shop van is here as well, so you'll see that right out front.
And what kind of goodies can they get today?
We're giving away some broadcast cards and some stickers and stuff.
Very good. But the important thing is get down there for that grand opening, maybe adopt a pet, or pick up some pet supplies for your best friend.
Absolutely. It's a good event. It's a good place.
All right. Thanks, Chuck. Have a great day.
All right, guys. You too.
All right, Chuck, enjoy. All righty.
Bye.
All right. Okay, so we are just getting started here at the Glory Days show. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll talk about the World Series that nobody seems to be watching between the wild card Kansas City Royals and the equally wild card San Francisco Giants.
And later on, we'll have a discussion about the NCAA investigating the University of North Carolina for academic violations. They were sending athletes to no-show classes. It's kind of hard to believe, right? Yeah. All right, stay with us. You're watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Enravio.com TV network. We're coming right back.
The time has come. Are you ready? Spooky Walk at Camp Aquanic is back and scarier than ever. Tickets are $15 at the gate, with all proceeds supporting the camp. Visit SpookyWalk.com.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Enravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Enravio.com. Enravio.com wants you. Enravio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to Enravio.com/join the team.
Welcome back to the Glory Days show here on the Enravio.com network. Oh.
Hey, man.
Things just happen sometimes. All right.
Well, it's near Halloween. There's a ghost in the control room.
Ghost in the
I guess. I don't
machine.
know,
All right. We've been having this contest for football.
Pigskin Pick'em, yeah.
Pigskin Pick'em.
Yeah.
And we're not doing very well.
No, we're not.
But at least we're ahead of the inanimate object that is Sammy Stone.
Well, are we? I think I'm tied with
you
him
might
now.
be tied, but you're going to zoom past him this
I
week.
hope so.
I've seen his picks.
Okay, oh yeah.
For this week.
Oh yeah?
They really suck. But Sammy Stone, who is the inanimate object, is also playing with us. And we've got about maybe 20 or so people that are still playing. There's a couple that just dropped out towards the end.
They lost interest after they had a couple of bad weeks, I guess. You know?
So these are the standings for the Pigskin Pick'em through Week 7, including Thursday games.
Okay.
Our leader is still I Need a Bag of Ice, who
John
has
Puccio.
71 correct, including 11 more last week.
Worst week was 7, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. He's had some big weeks for sure.
That's you.
Well, let's see. Yeah, 5 other teams also have 11 correct last week, but we're starting to see a little separation between the leader and the rest of the pack.
Right, Hank Luke, who's our pal Hank Locascio, has moved into second place with and a second place tie with Tenacious Titans at 66. But both of them are still 5 games behind the leader.
Yeah. A favorite inanimate object, Sammy Stone, is starting to drop like a stone as he puts in his worst week of the year with just 6 correct and has dropped all the way to 14th.
And your hosts are hanging around the middle as Mr. P picked up a game on me this week, putting up a 10 spot to my 9. His 58 may tie him with Sammy Stone, but I still lead him with 60.
You can follow along with the 2014 Glory Days Pigskin Pick'em on an ESPN.com fantasy games. Remember, the winner at the end of the season gets to do a live spot with us.
How exciting is that?
I tell you. But only if you don't have Ebola, okay?
Yes, no Ebola. We're gonna be skipping that.
Okay.
If you have Ebola, well then again, I guess if you're on the phone.
Well, you said a live spot. I thought they'd be in the studio with us, right?
Oh, I'm not bringing anybody in the studio.
Oh, you're not?
No. We don't know who's got Ebola.
Okay.
We may have to be quarantined down here for
they
21
need to be
days.
certified, okay?
We're going to have to do 21 consecutive Glory Days shows every day of the week.
Yeah.
Would you have us every day of the week?
Oh, God.
All righty. So let's talk about the World Series.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Giants, actually, Kansas City won last night, 3-2. So
Yes.
they're up 2 games to 1. They play again tonight. They play again Sunday. And then if it's still needed, they'll play Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, you know what? The thing is, the thing about the World Series is that
So
nobody
nobody's
seems to
watching.
be watching it. Exactly.
Well, I don't know about nobody.
Well, first of all, the
Did you
2
watch
wild
it?
card teams, I didn't watch it.
I watched it last night.
All right, they had their 4th best records in their respective leagues.
Yeah.
They played in front of a national audience on Tuesday and Wednesday. They had nothing else to watch. No football.
No competition.
No, nothing. And they drew the lowest ratings ever for Game 1. Now, we're saying just 12.2 million viewers.
Right. But you're going to compare that to things. Like, I think the World Cup, there were 25 million that watched the World Cup, right? So that's double.
Right. Well, listen to this. I found some interesting stuff. But for years, at least the beginning, was always the
You figure
ratings
the
always
first
did very
game
well.
got to be for sure, you know?
This week, more people watched NCIS New Orleans and The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
And the viewers on Sunday night for the regular season NFL game between Denver and San Francisco drew almost 25 million.
Well, but that was a kind of a special day there too. I mean, you know,
But
Peyton Manning was
still.
setting up to break the career passing TD record, right?
The college football game between Notre Dame and Florida State on Saturday drew more than game 1 or 2.
All right. So at the outset, you said you had a way to fix this. So how are you going to fix it?
Okay. Well,
I've been intrigued. I've been, on the edge of my seat since we did the tease.
well, let's think about this. Let's think of a couple of factors first.
Okay.
Okay. It could be the matchup. Kansas City is one of the smallest baseball markets, right? And they really don't have anybody that's.
But they got that Cinderella factor going there.
But they don't have anybody that anybody knows. Could you name 3 people on Kansas City, not including the coach or Hosmus?
I suppose I could not.
And you watched the entire game.
I
yesterday.
did. I did.
Okay. They have the best bullpen, right? Can't name one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're not marquee names for sure.
But in 1985, when the Royals played in the World Series, the games averaged 34 million.
Wow.
All right? What happened?
Yeah.
What happened between
And
now
that
and
was
then?
St. Louis and.
In the last 9 years, the last 9 World Series have produced 8 of the least watched World Series. Okay? The 78 Dodger-Yankee World Series was the most watched World Series in the last 40 years, and they had over 44 million.
Okay.
But why is that?
Yeah.
Baseball has never been stronger from from labor strife. Teams are getting new ballparks. They're getting more TV contracts. Their revenue has grown from $2 billion to $8 billion. Okay.
So what's wrong?
Okay.
Why can't they draw people to these games, to watch those games on TV?
Because
Yeah.
a 7-game series doesn't provide enough
Drama?
drama. Look at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl numbers have increased 30% in the last 25
So
years.
you're suggesting a winner-take-all one game?
No.
Okay.
How about this? Okay. Is it too much to ask a viewer to carve out 7 nights out of 9 to watch a game against 2 teams that they don't care about?
Yeah.
So I'm proposing a 3-game World Series.
Okay.
Okay? Now, of course, that's never going to happen. I'm going on record saying that it's never going to happen. Right? But in a 7-game series, there's a noticeable drop in the ratings between Game 1 and Game 3 or Game 4. Okay? All the time. It's because there isn't any elimination game.
Okay. People start getting interested when somebody can win.
Right. The length of the series really has no bearing on the ratings. Okay? In a 7-game series, Game 6 and Game 7 are always an elimination for one team. Right? Okay? I mean, I know Game 3 and 4 Games 4 and 5 can also be an elimination.
Yeah.
But at that point, the series is either 3-0 or 3-1, and who cares? You know what I mean? So here's my idea. You play a 3-game series at a neutral site every year.
Neutral site.
Like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, you like these neutral sites. You were talking
Well,
about that with the
you
wild,
know
wild
why?
card and things like that, too.
Well, you know why? Because if you do it in a neutral site,
Yeah.
everybody can plan to be there. Okay? And it could be played in the warm weather.
Like the Super Bowl.
It could be played in the warm weather sites. It could be played in a place that has a dome so that you don't have 35-degree World Series games, which they have here in New York sometimes. Okay? And, could you imagine? First of all, the home team gets games 1 and 3. And a short series immediately creates more pressure. Okay? The Game 1 winner would immediately have a huge advantage.
And they got a chance to wrap it up in Game 2.
And wrap it up. Okay, and automatically, Game 2 and Game 3 are always elimination games. I mean, if last night's game or Game 3, how great would that game have been last night?
Oh, it was a good game anyway.
That was it.
you know?
The team split the first 2 games, right?
Interesting idea, Disco. Like you say, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not
but
gonna happen.
But it could
But that's what we're
generate
talking
some
about.
more interest in this thing.
But I mean, you know, can you really have a 3-game series to decide the winner of a 162-game season?
It's tough to do. Tough to
You know, I mean, you know, baseball has, instead of being nationalized,
Yeah.
baseball has really gone the other direction. They've become localized.
And you know, the interesting thing is like you say, the World Series doesn't have this buzz. I think the bigger news yesterday was that Joe Madden has left the Tampa Bay
Tampa Bay
Rays.
Rays, yeah.
And he's like kind of a free agent right now. He's trying to figure out where his next move is going to be, you know?
Yeah, it's a tough thing, you know. This guy, there were a lot of things expected of them.
Yeah.
And,
Well, they had a good pitching staff.
I read this morning that Chicago might be interested in him, but you had said something about maybe the Mets.
Well, I think the Mets deserve to take a look at him. I mean, you know, he's got a more impressive resume than Terry Collins has. I mean, you know, he's got 2 division titles, 4 playoff appearances, 5 90-win seasons.
And he's got 2 division titles in a division that has both the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yeah, and the Orioles, which aren't a
And the
bad
Orioles,
team
yeah.
either, you know. Won 2 Manager of the Year awards. So, you know, I know the Mets are committed to Terry Collins. I don't understand why they don't at least talk to Joe Madden. The other thing that could happen is, you know, I guess the general manager of Tampa Bay a few weeks ago signed with the Dodgers. He's now the vice president of baseball, president of baseball
You
operations.
think they get
there.
rid of Mattingly?
I think that's a possibility there too.
You know what? Let's take a break.
Okay.
All right, it's halftime here at the Glory Day Show. Time to catch our breath. Okay? When we come
Okay.
back, we can continue the baseball discussion.
Okay.
And then let's talk a little bit about that NCAA investigation into the University of North Carolina. I just think it's it's an interesting story
It is.
about what they found out. And what's
It's
making
not
me laugh
shocking, though.
is that it's not shocking.
And
Exactly.
People
Is that
acting
it?
like they're shocked about it,
All right, you're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco only on the InRadio.com TV network. We're coming right back.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice, and we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
The time has come. Are you ready? Spooky Walk at Camp Aquanic is back and scarier than ever. Tickets are $15 at the gate, with all proceeds supporting the camp. Visit SpookyWalk.com.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. The Bully News Network, coming soon to InRavio.com, an all-new weekly show highlighting the latest news and information about the epidemic of bullying. Join Scott Hislop as he explores the issues with Dr. Michelle Golland, along with parents, teachers, and school officials, and many others affected by bullying. We'll tell stories together and work toward finding a solution to this rampant problem. The Bully News Network premieres Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. only on InRavio.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the InRadio.com TV network. So we were talking about baseball before the break, and we were talking about Tampa Bay manager Joe Madden.
Yep.
I guess he resigned.
He did. Well, he opted out of
resign,
it.
or
He
he-
had an option year, and he decided to decline.
Why would you
the option.
opt out of a contract?
Well, I think he's going to make a lot more money, you know, and I think that's the thing that'll stop the Mets from signing him.
Well, I
He's
heard he
talking
was,
about probably he's looking for 5 years at $25 million. And the Mets probably aren't going to pay. What are they paying Collins? $1 million a year or something?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they're certainly not paying him $5 million.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, but
So, you know, even though I think the Mets owe it to themselves to at least explore, you know, this, I mean, he's got a great resume, Madden. He's won, and he's taken a bad team and made them good.
Yeah.
But it would really show, I think, Met fans that really the Mets management are serious about, really turning the corner.
I'm not so sure I agree with the Kevin Long, the hitting coach of the Yankees.
No?
Them signing him. Maybe because of and first of all, Kevin Long was the coach, the hitting coach of the Yankees for a long time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, for the last 2 years, they couldn't hit.
Yeah. But nobody can hit this year.
No,
anyway,
this was a bad year of baseball for hitting for everybody.
Yeah.
But they fired him, and the Mets hired him.
Well, we'll see.
You think a hitting
He's been attributed to, Curtis Granderson breaking out as a Yankee. So we'll see what happens with him there. At the end of the day, the hitting instructor, they can instill a philosophy, they can instill some kind of confidence that you have and things like that. You still got to hit the ball, And if you don't have guys that can hit the ball, doesn't matter, if God is your hitting coach, it's not going to happen.
Well, can't they just listen to Keith Hernandez?
Well, I guess Keith must, and he's very great. I think he's just a great commentator. I really do. But I think he'd be a great hitting instructor, don't you?
I think he would be too, but I don't know. The other guy that they were looking at. Did you see who the other guy was?
Well, Madigan.
Dave Madigan,
Yeah.
right? The hero of the '86
World Series.
clinching game, the '86 clincher, who nobody knew anything about when Hernandez was sick.
And he's related to Don Mattingly, isn't he? I believe so. He's
I
related
don't
to
know.
somebody in the Yankees, and somebody that was a Yankee, and I'm pretty sure it was him.
But,
So we're done with the baseball. I guess before we talk about the NCAA, we want to talk about, I guess, the happenings up in Foxborough, up in New England.
yes, Darrell Rivas.
Yeah.
They played a game. They played the Thursday night game,
Against the Jets.
right?
Jets lost 27-25.
Right. So they had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Monday was the first practice, 7:30 in the morning. He wasn't there. Now they didn't say what time he showed up,
Yeah.
but when he showed up, Belichick said with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, "Goodbye."
Yeah.
No, he says, "Go home."
And I guess that's the Lynn Kiley thing sticking around. When we showed up at 3:00 in the afternoon after the Islanders iced the cup one year,
So we know
She told
that's
us to go home too,
So Darrell Rivas, the all-world, the greatest cornerback in the history of the league.
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best. He's not the greatest, I don't think.
He just decides not to show up. Not that he just decides he's going to be late. And he thinks, like if he was on the Jets, that they're just going to laugh at him and say, "Oh, look at him." Belichick tells him, "Go home."
Yeah.
They're on.
Well, that guy runs a tight ship, but you look at these franchises and who wins all the time and who doesn't.
Exactly.
And it comes from leadership. It comes from management.
It comes, if Darrell Rivas didn't know that Belichick don't play,
Yeah.
he knows now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm sure he would have done the same thing with Tom Brady, but Tom Brady showed up late.
Exactly. There are no favorites. There's no.
There are no prima donnas on that team.
Exactly, and that's why they win all the time. And that's the difference. We're still waiting, by the way, for the Jets to discipline Geno Smith. It's been 3 weeks now. So I guess they're not going to discipline him.
Well, this week the Jets, they're on a 6-game losing streak. They traded for Seattle wide receiver Percy Harvin. He's going to get his first action as a Jet this weekend. It's really, the Bills, they're banged up. They're 4-3. The Jets should win this game.
They have no running backs.
And with this new weapon they have, it's really time for Geno Smith to show whether he's really the quarterback for the future or not.
And even if Geno Smith can't deliver the ball to him, he can at least stretch the defense.
Yeah.
He's got a...
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. Last year they said, well, Geno Smith, they didn't have any game breakers and things like that. They got Eric Decker, but he's been banged up most of the year,
But Eric Decker can't do it by himself. He still becomes, it's 5 guys on Eric Decker. And you don't have to worry about the other guys because they just drop the ball.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it was obviously all this that came out last week is that this guy's a pariah in the locker room and things like that, We'll see.
We love those character guys.
Yeah, well, Rex Ryan seems to like him. I don't know.
All right.
Speaking about character,
Speaking
the
about character.
NCAA are a bunch of characters, I think.
According to a new NCAA investigation regarding athletic fraud
Athletic fraud.
at the
That's
University of
terrible.
North Carolina, an alarming lack of institutional oversight has run unchecked for nearly 20 years. 20 years. The investigations found that the university leaders, faculty, staff members, they either missed or ignored these little flags.
Red flags.
Right.
Yeah.
That could have stopped the problem years earlier. More than 3,100 students, half of them athletes, benefited from the sham classes and artificially high grades in the African and Afro-American Studies department.
They don't have basket weaving anymore?
No, basket weaving. That was when we went to school.
Exactly
They had
right,
basket
yeah.
weaving. You know, and just to give you an idea, I think we've talked about this on the show before. When we were going to New York Institute of Technology,
Yep.
okay, they had a basketball player named guy's name of Kelvin Hicks.
I do remember that.
Okay.
I think he was in our social studies class.
He
but
showed up the
exactly
first
right. I remember him
day.
showing up. That's right.
Right?
Everybody said, "Who's
he
that?"
showed up the first day, and I knew who he was
Yeah.
because I was working with the newspaper. And I was like, oh, wow, Kelvin Hicks is in our class. He was like the big star of the basketball team. And
I don't think we saw him again.
we never saw him again. Now, if that's going on
I
in
wonder
New
what
York
Mr.
Tech-
Feynman gave him for a grade, right? That was our instructor, was Mr.
You remember his
Feynman.
name? That was pretty good. Anyway, apparently that they were just showing up into class. They didn't. The classes from 1993 to 2011. They didn't. Attendance was not mandatory.
I think I read one of them. It wasn't even really a class. They had to do a term paper or something.
Right, they had to do a research paper.
And it had a secretary grading it.
Right.
You know,
The
and they started
secretary
reading
would
it, A or
grade.
B is what it was.
Right, the
you know?
secretary would grade it. It was either A or B, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. And you know, now they're just finding out about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the same thing with everything. You know, once you, as management or leadership, once you're aware of a problem, if you don't take care of it, okay, then it's, you know, then you have to fall on that.
You know what they had? Two people who were heading the department. Both of them didn't do anything. They didn't do anything about it.
Well, that makes you culpable, is what it makes
Exactly.
you.
You know, and now they're saying, oh, well, you know, we don't. The athletic director says, you know, we don't believe that we've done anything wrong. But if they do find out, you know,
Yeah.
what are they going to do? They're going to forfeit wins.
Right.
I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean that the 3 or 4 national championships that the basketball team won, that they're just going to take them away? What does that mean?
Well, you know what happened with who was the guy that played for USC against Texas? I'm trying to think of what is it? Just a couple of years ago, right? Where didn't they take the Heisman away from him, or
Yeah, but I can understand that. But how do you take something back from
Well,
2002?
yeah.
What do you do now? Whatever school that they played, now they become the national champions?
Yeah.
It's
I guess
just
you can't.
silly.
I guess you can't do
You know what I mean? It's already been done. And then what do? Do you punish the future, like what they do? What happened at Penn State?
State.
Right? They now punish the future kids that are coming to the program.
Yeah. Good question. Good question. I saw that, I guess, Roy Williams is the basketball coach there, and I guess he left from, I guess he was there originally, then he went to maybe Kansas, then he came back or whatever. Very sad time. He thought that we were doing the right thing. I don't even know what he means, thought we were doing the right thing.
I don't believe any of that. I believe that these coaches, they know everything that's going on. Like the coaching staff at that
Sayreville.
Sayreville, right.
We
You
didn't
tell
know.
me that they didn't know that,
Yeah.
that you are the coach of high school children.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not children, they're young men. You're the head coach, you're the assistant coach. You're physically in that building.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on.
You don't have the pulse of that team.
You don't know that. You're not in the locker room. What do you do? Just right after practice, you say, "Okay, guys, see you tomorrow." Close your door and go home. No, you're there until everybody leaves.
Yeah.
You don't just leave.
Yeah.
I'm not buying
It's
it.
all about this plausible deniability is what it is. You know, you really can't hang anything on these guys, and they're just, you know, they're just saying, "Well, I didn't know," you know.
Right. They and you know what? Like we were talking to Rocky last week. We were talking about privilege and how these athletes are pampered and the whole thing. And I guess not Rocky. We were talking to Pete Torgerson about that. About
Well,
how
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they just feel that their entire
privileged.
life.
They're
Right,
privileged,
Their entire
yeah.
life, they've been privileged. You know what? That makes me sad to think that I was always a part of it, because I was always coaching kids, you know, and although when I coached kids, winning not that it never mattered.
Yeah.
But it was always important to make sure that everybody played and everybody got in the game. And because of that, you know, we didn't win a lot of games.
You raised a good character, you know. You
Yeah.
instilled some good character in the players.
You know, but you could see how you could see how the parents.
Everything is so. Yeah, that's right. And the parents they're worst. I mean, I coached too, you know, and that was it, you know. Crazy.
All right.
It's really crazy.
You made it this far. Hang on for the finale. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, wrap things up. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the InRadio.com TV network. Coming right back.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice, and we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
InRavio.com. The Bully News Network, coming soon to InRavio.com. An all-new weekly show highlighting the latest news and information about the epidemic of bullying. Join Scott Hislop as he explores the issues with Dr. Michelle Golland, along with parents, teachers, and school officials, and many others affected by bullying. We'll tell stories together and work toward finding a solution to this rampant problem. The Bully News Network premieres Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. only on InRavio.com.
The time has come. Are you ready? Spooky Walk at Camp Aquanic is back and scarier than ever. Tickets are $15 at the gate, with all proceeds supporting the camp. Visit SpookyWalk.com.
InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco here on the InRavio.com TV network.
What did we learn today?
What have you learned today?
Well, I was taking notes as we went along here. I think the first thing I learned is that African American Studies has replaced basket weaving as the preferred sham class for student athletes across the country, or at least in North Carolina, I should say.
At least in North Carolina. And I was just going to say, if you have a chance to take Afro-American Studies, it seems to be the class to be enrolled in. I learned that from a basketball perspective, that it's not about the minutes that they play during the game. It's about how many games they play in the season. And it kind of reminded me of the line from the Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark movie.
Okay.
He says, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
Yeah, well, that's
And really, that's kind of what it is. It's about
it's
the wear and tear.
DeMarco Murray, right?
Yeah.
Learned that nobody's watching the World Series this year. I mean, it was bigger news that that Joe Madden, opted out of his contract with Tampa Bay Rays and is now a free agent. You had an interesting proposal that won't go anyplace. That maybe they should make it a 3-game series instead of a 7-game series.
Just to make it a little more exciting. But you know what? If you like baseball, watch the World Series. To me, it's always fun. And I know no matter what the sport is, basketball, hockey, baseball, I always watch the elimination games because I like to see that championship trophy awarded, you know? And I especially like to see the hometown fans.
And we were fortunate back in 1986. Was it 86?
86, yes.
You know, we went to Game 7 of the World Series, man. And that was the greatest single sporting event that I've ever been to.
Right. Oh, absolutely. You know,
we were near the Coliseum when the Islanders won their first cup, but we weren't inside the Coliseum. I don't think we were ever in the Coliseum when they won the cup. You know?
No.
So I mean, just to be at a place where, like you said,
there's
the
only
ultimate
been
game.
There's only been 2 of them.
Yeah.
You know, 69 and 86.
That's right.
You know, and actually, tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Is tomorrow the 25th or the 26th?
Today's the 25th.
No, so then tomorrow is the anniversary
Yeah.
of that World Series clinching game.
The other thing I learned is that Bill Belichick doesn't bend the rules for anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's probably one of his, critical success factors to being a great coach. And the Patriots always having a competitive team on the field.
Football is a sport that requires discipline. It requires good practice skills. And it requires a commitment, and a commitment to a team, which is 3 things that the Jets have none of. Yeah. Which is why they are one of 2 teams that have won only 1 game.
They are the laughingstock of the league, I really believe.
And it's sad. Yeah. No, but I don't know. What do you do from this point? You go out and run the table, finish at 10-6. Is this team capable of winning 9 straight games?
I don't think they're capable of winning 9 straight. I think they can wind up around 8-8. But to me, I think the jury's already. I think the verdict is already out on Rex Ryan. He's not going to be the coach next year.
No, he's not. All right, you know what? Let's get out of here.
Okay.
All right. Thanks to our producers today, the lovely and talented Bonnie Schultz and Kyle Melnick, the co-host of the Weekly Show, with Jenna Lacari. Is that how you pronounce it? And that can be seen live each week here on the InRadio.com TV network, Wednesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week after week after week after week. And, of course, thank you, our loyal listeners. Don't forget, check out Glory Days on-demand page on www.inradio.com, and you can catch up, you can watch any of our past shows, and you can watch any of the InRadio.com TV network shows.
I want to go back and listen to our talk with Rocky last week,
It was a good show. That'll be out on the replay, so will this. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
All right, take care.
8radio.com.